We often imagine ancient people living in caves, barely surviving. But what if I told you that thousands of years ago, civilizations built machines, developed medicine, and designed cities in ways that still baffle us today? From earthquake detectors to surgical tools, from star tracking computers to concrete that heals itself. These weren't just flukes. They were the results of intelligence, patience, and innovation. So, let's unravel the lost genius of our ancestors. Here are 15 mind-blowing ancient technologies that prove they were smarter than we think. Modern concrete cracks, weakens, and fades. But Roman concrete, it stood the test of over 2,000 years. They didn't just mix cement. They used volcanic ash and seawater to trigger a chemical process called pozzolanic reaction. It didn't just survive, it got stronger with age. Scientists are still trying to replicate it, and failing. This 2,000-year-old device was found in a sunken ship off Greece. It's been called the first analog computer. With gears, dials, and incredible precision, it could predict eclipses, planetary movements, and solar cycles. Some parts were more complex than modern Swiss watches, built centuries before mechanical clocks existed. Over 2,500 years ago, Indian doctors were performing nose reconstructions using skin from the forehead. These procedures were described in Sushruta Samhita, a detailed surgical textbook from ancient India. It included tools, sterilization methods, and recovery instructions, still referenced by doctors today. In 132 AD, Zhang Heng built a seismograph using dragons, balls, and a metal vase. No wires, no batteries. Yet it detected earthquakes from hundreds of miles away. When a quake struck, a dragon's mouth would release a ball, pointing in the direction of the tremor. Ancient Egypt wasn't just about pyramids. They had detailed medical texts, surgical tools, and even dental prosthetics. Papyrus scrolls show they used honey to treat infections and created antiseptic bandages. And shockingly, some of their treatments worked better than 19th century medicine. Etched into the deserts of Peru, the Nazca lines stretch for miles. Giant hummingbirds, spiders, and geometric patterns, only visible from the air. But how did they make them? Without flying. Some believe it was for gods. Others think it was a giant observatory. The Maya tracked stars without telescopes. Their calendars predicted eclipses, solstices, and Venus cycles with stunning accuracy. They built observatories aligned with celestial events, often more precise than medieval European tools. High in the Andes, the Inca built structures so precise you can't slide a credit card between the stones. At Machu Picchu, buildings resisted earthquakes without mortar, thanks to ingenious stone cutting and drainage systems. Babylonian clay tablets show knowledge of trigonometry and algebra, 1,000 years before Pythagoras. Their base 60 math let them divide time, track planets, and even solve quadratic equations. In 2600 BCE, every home in Mohenjo-Daro had a private toilet connected to a central sewage system. They had grid-planned cities, public baths, and flowing clean water 4,000 years ago. The Byzantine Empire used a weapon called Greek fire, a mysterious flammable liquid that burned even on water. Its exact formula is lost. Modern scientists still can't recreate it without risking explosions. It was like ancient napalm, centuries ahead of its time. Swords made from Damascus steel were said to cut through iron like butter. They were crafted using lost techniques involving Wootz steel from India. To this day, metallurgists are puzzled by their strength, flexibility, and wave-like patterns. In 1st century Egypt, Hero of Alexandria built a spinning steam-powered device called an eolipile. It was a working steam engine, 1,700 years before the Industrial Revolution. Imagine what could have happened if they'd taken it further. Long before Columbus, the Phoenicians were expert sailors, navigating the seas with the stars and wind. There are even claims they reached the Americas centuries before anyone else. Structures like Göbekli Tepe, built 11,000 years ago, predate agriculture, and yet show architectural complexity. These hunter-gatherers lifted tons of stone and aligned them with stars before writing was even invented. These weren't guesses. They were the product of centuries of observation, experimentation, and brilliance. We call them ancient, but in many ways, they were ahead of us. So next time you see a modern building crumble or your tech glitch, remember, thousands of years ago, humans were crafting wonders. With no machines, no satellites, no computers, they were engineers, doctors, mathematicians, and artists. And maybe, just maybe, they knew more than we do.